Yo, what's going on YouTube? It is Dom, aka KT2, and I'm coming back at you guys again for another video. So what I'm gonna talk about today is 10 things I wish I knew before I became an officer, before I commissioned. Now, I don't have a video editing program, so this is gonna be really rough and off the top of my head. Oh, not off the top of my head, but off a phone. And I'm just gonna be reading off the things that I wrote down. I asked a couple of other LTs what they thought, and so here's what I've got. And if you don't know who I am, for a quick introduction, I'm an LT in the Army. Been in the Army about 2 years, two years and three or 4 months now. I'll be putting on first lieutenant soon. Had about 10 months enlisted. All right, so here we go. In no particular order, except for number one, I'm gonna say is number one. First one, don't let one aspect of being an officer define you. Be very well-rounded. Now that's something, after coming out of BOLC, right? Basic Officer Leadership course, a part of my identity became PT, right? Good at PT at OCS, good at PT at BOLC. So then I'm good at PT at Airborne School, at Rigger School, and then good at PT coming into my unit. And then I began to let that become a part of my identity, right? And that's not good. That's not good, because then bam, I had the highest PT score in the company, and then bam, I hurt my knee, and I haven't been able to run since. And I'm just now about to figure out what's going on with my knee. So whether it's PT, whether it's you're good on writing reports or doing paperwork or whatever aspect of an officer, we are supposed to be well-rounded generalists. Right? Don't let one aspect define you, because it can be taken away and your weaknesses can be exposed. Right? So second one, expect to make mistakes and others not be willing to show theirs. Right? One thing that, maybe it's because I'm on YouTube, I'm very open. I'm pretty open with my life, right? If I make a mistake, I'll talk about it. Hey, I did this. Yep. Most people, or a lot of people from what I can see, are not as open to admitting their mistakes. And that's something like, or things that shaped them to where they are now. And I talked to my platoon sergeant about it, and it's not something that's done on purpose. As I realized, you know, it's just not something people talk about. People just don't usually talk about their mistakes. Maybe because I'm in an entrepreneurship type of realm too, where you just, mistakes aren't glorified, but they're talked about a lot more. Third thing, leadership styles will change. You can't expect one thing to work with one person, right? And then expect it to work with Jane, right? So let me give you an example. Joe, you may need to yell at Joe, right? Jane, you may need to talk to. That's one thing that you know, is important. Your leadership style will have to change with, you know, different people, different things you do. Be diverse, be well-rounded. You know, that goes along with that. This is the number one most important thing I think on this whole list. Number one thing is being an LT, being an officer, is the number one thing is learning on the job training. There is no manual for how to be a good officer. There is no manual. I don't think there is no FM, there's no DA-PAM, there is nothing. There is no TM. To being a good officer, you have to learn on the job. Learn on there is so much 95% of the job is learned while doing it, all right? And that's what makes it kind of fun and interesting too. You're just kind of, sometimes you're just getting hit with a fire hose, sometimes it's just drip, 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 drip. But you know, it's a fun job, but it's a lot of on-the-job learning and training. Sixth thing, not sixth thing, but the fifth thing is understanding Ucmj and regulations. That's extremely important, man. I wish we would have had more understanding of it, especially at the company, the battalion, and the brigade level. When you get into your unit, it's used so heavily regulations. People spit out regulations. Doing AR 670-1, you know, you can wear this, this, and this. You know, do the AR 250-, you know, you can do this, this, and this. Like, they spit out regulations, and if you're not ready for the regulations, then, you know, it's kind of like, wait, what? And then you got Ucmj. Understanding Ucmj and how people get chaptered and separated at the company, battalion, and brigade level, it's extremely important, I feel. And I wish I would have known that. Next thing is Politics 101. Take a class in Politics 101. I'm not political. I'm not a very political person. And when I mean politics, I mean like talking, getting knowing people, and be friendly. I'm not political. If I like you, I like you. If I feel like talking to you, I'm gonna talk to you. I'm not gonna talk to you because, you know, for good graces. You know, I'm not. It's just not me. Next thing is USR, Unit Status Report. If you're an LT, you feel my pain. I wish we would have went over USR in bulk. There's this thing called USR, and it's the pain. It is the pain of a company. It's done once a month. Oh my gosh. And if you're not experienced at it, it is a pain. It's called USR. Next thing is all officers aren't good. Some only look out for themselves. You know, when you think of an officer, you're supposed to think of them as like right here. You're supposed to think of them as top tier, best of the best, but some only look out for themselves, and that's something I never really expected. Next thing is, ninth one. Wish I knew that the choices as officers we make genuinely do affect people's lives. Yeah, the things we do as officers really do affect people's lives and well-being and health. Like, we kick people out the army. That changes their life, you know. And you have to be really prepared to affect people's lives like that. You don't really understand until you get put in the situation where you have to demote a soldier, right? A soldier gets demoted, and then he hits his RSP date, which means he can only be at that rank for so long, and then he has to start separating from the army. It's like, you never know how you affect it. Like, you really affect people's lives as an officer, and it's crazy. Good or bad. That was a bad example of something that you do, but we do good stuff too. Last thing is, as LTs, we need to find good mentors to seek advice from, whether it be positive or negative. Positive or negative, guys, you gotta find good mentors. You gotta find good men. You gotta find people to model yourself after. Find someone who's where you want to be, and then I could say emulate that. That's probably like the best thing you can do. That's it. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, you guys can hit me up on Snapchat or Instagram. Snapchat at KLOP95 or Instagram at KIDTHNDR2. And like I always like to say at the end of all my videos, don't live the same year 75, 80, 85, 90 times, then try and call to life. My name is Dom, aka KT2, and I'm out here, guys. Peace.